Bluff City Media presents the Two Buck Sports Show with your hosts, Rusty Buckets and Uncle Buck. Now, let's get to the show.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to your finally Friday edition of the Two Buck Sports Show. I am your co-host, Rusty Buckets, coming to you live from East Memphis. Drew, it is another scorcher out there. I'm glad to be inside in the air conditioning. Unfortunately, having to look at your face, but I'm grateful to be here. Uncle Buck, welcome to the show, man. How are you?
I'm telling you, it is finally Friday, and this is the 15th day of the work week, I think. And thank God it's finally Friday. We've made it to lunchtime, which means it's all downhill from here. We've gotten clouds in North Mississippi. It's been rather nice. On the drive home for this show today, I looked down at the speedometer there. It said 82 degrees.
Dang.
Yeah.
Must be nice, man. Like for us yesterday, I got a little bit of cloud cover and breeze yesterday afternoon when I mowed my grass. So I kind of was able to do that without completely dying. And it's still steamy. There's a few little clouds, but the sun just poked back through outside. And I'm just grateful to be inside, wrapping up my studies as I head for my exam on Monday. It's going to be nice to have that behind me so I can actually start getting out and doing stuff instead of sitting in front of my computer for 5 or 6 hours a day.
Yeah.
But I'm not looking forward to being out in the heat doing said things.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm kind of hoping it stays pretty mild. My dad has tried in his retirement to get into golf a little bit, and he's asked me, and I feel bad, like a poor son, but I've always had good reason, but he's tried to get me to play golf for like 3 months now. And I finally told Haley just a minute ago, I was like, listen, I'm going to go try to play golf with Dad tomorrow. Nice. I don't know what we got going on. I think nothing. So I'm going to go try to play golf with my dad tomorrow.
Nice. Well, we won't waste any more time. We'll dive right into the show. We got quite a few things on our agenda today, including our favorite Friday segment.
Yes, it's Friday. It is segment 1. We are the Two Bucks. We are on Bluff City Media's YouTube and X pages. I want to take a moment to cordially invite everybody from the X pages to come on over to YouTube in the comments. We've got Jared, we've got Wayno. I'm sure Edward and King Meeks and all of our friends will show up. It's Friday, and we all want to wind down the weekend together in the chat. So if you want to hang out with the cool kids, come on over to the YouTube chat and hang out with us. But it's Friday, and it's our newest segment. It's our Big Three, and that's where we take a hot topic of, something pop culture related more times than not, and we make it into a segment where we pick 3 of them and we battle our list together. And we lost a legend yesterday, Rusty, and I think that's going to be the theme of this week's Big Three.
It is, a sports icon in Hulk Hogan kind of defined a generation of wrestling and wrestling for a lot of fans. I was more of a fan of wrestling in the 90s when I thought it was like a big heyday of wrestling. And that was kind of the back half of his career. He was still heavily involved in WWE and then going over to WCW and joining the Wolfpack NWO. And so we thought today, normally we have an image that we'll throw up with items that we'll select. But today we thought we would do wrestling, as it were, not Olympic wrestling, but wrestling, a service, and pick our 3 favorite wrestlers for our list today. So I went first last week. I was able to get Chick-fil-A first overall. It is Drew's turn to go first today. So Drew, you got the first pick in our wrestling Big Three.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. My wrestling, listen, I lived a sheltered childhood. I went to public school, but that's about as risque as it got in the Gann household. We laugh looking back because my parents got like one of these things that would scramble all the cuss words on live TV. It was wild. Technology back in those days was wild. So I was not allowed to watch wrestling in my house. And I grew up in the 90s. You're talking Attitude Era, peak of powers. Mm-hmm. But my parents didn't realize that my cousin Kirk and cousin David, who have, been frequently talked about on the show, lived next door to me. They were fans, and their parents were fans, and they ran interference for me to come over to their house every single time that Raw was on for during the Attitude Era. So I did get a pretty hefty dose of wrestling, but I am not a historian. this is not a Mount Rushmore conversation. These are my 3 favorite wrestlers. Okay,
because we're going to be judged really hard according to Jared here in the comments, and he's not wrong.
Yeah.
Like, because like there are some wrestling fans and purists out there that are going to absolutely just seethe at our lists today, and that's why we do it.
This is my list, okay, in my limited scope of WWE exposure as a kid. And with that being said,
oh boy,
there is a complete and obvious number 1 for me. He is quite honestly my favorite character in any sport ever.
Mm-hmm.
He's Stone Cold Steve Austin,
absolutely,
the Texas Rattlesnake. He was just a cultural phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
My uncle kind of looked like him with the bald head and the goatee. We all resonated with the guy that was just like willing to throw up the double birds to the boss and hit him over the head with a bedpan. Like we were all wanted to be Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh,
I loved him. Yeah.
Like, so 90s were the heydays of wrestling for me. We were the opposite. My family loved it. We bought WrestleMania and SummerSlam and Royal Rumble on pay-per-view and would watch it. And it was an amazing experience watching that with my dad and then going and pretending to be all the wrestlers. Drew, I can't tell you how many times I would pop 2 Sprites by the pool, slam them together and pour them all over me like I was Stone Cold Steve Austin, 8 years old, not fully understanding, what's going on, like 8 to 10 years old, but just being that guy, right? Just with Sprite like frothing all over me, thinking I was Steve Austin because Stone Cold said so. That's the obvious one of one. What? I mean,
and there was no more
revolution.
I just told you about my household growing up and the how pure we tried to keep things. There was no worse wrestler for me to love than the guy that put Austin 316 on his shirt. Yeah, like
that's it, man.
That would have been jail for Drew.
Like he kind of brought the Attitude Era into existence. He was so on the edge, like he was kind of on the front edge of that before you got Degeneration X and all the things that came with that. Well done. That is a solid 1 of 1. Again, these are my lists. These are people that I grew up loving. And so my first overall pick, it's from the 90s. I was him for Halloween a couple years ago. You can't go to a gas station and walk past Slim Jims and not go, oh yeah, step into a Slim Jim, because of the man, the myth, the legend, Randy Macho Man Savage. I loved like cocaine was a hell of a drug, to quote Rick James, because it got him through the 80s and into the 90s, Miss Liz and the tag teams and his rivalry with Hulk and Ric Flair. And just, you talk about bigger than life personalities. Macho Man is my goated wrestler of all time, 101, Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah. Are we snake drafting here?
Yeah, we're snake drafting. So I get to go here again. Yeah. Speaking of cocaine, Drew,
Ric Flair.
Yeah, I got one better. There are stars that burn really, really bright and really, really fast, right? And they don't last super long because they just burn too hot too fast. Or they do enough cocaine to kill an army of horses. And that would be the Ultimate Warrior. You talk about a guy who was just like housing cocaine in the back and then sprinting down the ramp, shaking the ropes, running laps, like limitless energy. Like I used to, when we would play in the backyard, I would tie shoestrings around my biceps to look like the Ultimate Warrior and run around. And I would use eye black to paint my face like him, head banging around the ring, in our backyard playing with Clark and Jim, wrestling. Like I was a huge Ultimate Warrior fan. But again, late 80s, early 90s, cocaine era of WWE. The Ultimate Warrior was right up there.
You scared me because you started talking about killing people, and I thought you were going a different direction. Sorry.
Sorry.
All right. I will go because wrestling is cinema, and the best storylines happen in wrestling. And there's nothing better than a good storyline, especially something that makes your spine tingle. And to this day, when the lights go off and you hear the gong, you hear the bell.
Yeah.
It's just terrifying. Undertaker's terrifying. And I loved it. I loved the storyline, the back from the dead. Speaking of dead, Rusty has just exited the stage right. We'll see if he comes back from the dead here. I don't know. Back from the dead, just like Undertaker. Here's Rusty Whitten, everybody.
And here I am thinking I'm gonna have a better day today than Wednesday, and I touched the kill button on my mouse. Continue.
All right. So yeah, Undertaker, just knowing the sheer panic that he incited every time that he just showed up in the middle of the ring, back from the dead, the lights go off, the bell sounds, and there's Undertaker, 7'5", the eyes that roll back in the back of his head with the trench coat and the jacket and the neck tattoos. Like, he was scary. And for that reason, I'll just take Undertaker. I know he's probably not the best wrestler ever, but character, I loved Undertaker.
I love when he would appear in the rafters like Sting, or he would just like you said, like people be out there and all of a sudden you just hear the gong and the lights would go out, and you just like you would get, as a 10-year-old child, I'd get chills just knowing that Taker was going to ride in on his Harley, or he was going to pop up out of the center of the ring, or whatever. Like, just an incredible personality.
And I'm going to finish out my list by taking the 3 greatest finishing moves of all time is what my list is going to be. I've got the Stone Cold Stunner. I got the Choke Slam. And I will
Maggie knows ball. Let's go. Absolutely.
Okay. And to finish my point, the Stone Cold Stunner, I got Undertaker, and I will take the RKO out of nowhere, Randy Orton. Just my favorite finishing move ever. And he is definitely outstayed his welcome, I believe, in the WWE. But the RKO out of nowhere is one of the best memes. It is one of the best finishing moves of all time. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm just taking finishing moves at this point.
I love it. It's great. There's so many good ones. You know, the People's Elbow, this Goldberg Spear. There's so many good ones. But RKO out of nowhere is a really good one. And so, again, this is my list. All right. Y'all can hate on it if you want. But there is one wrestler, speaking of finishing moves, that was the defining guy that I like, the one wrestler I followed no matter what, even in his little venture into NWO when it wasn't great or quite on his personality, I thought. But that there was a WrestleMania video game on Sega Genesis, and I used to beat Clark to sleep with Razor Ramon, Scott Hall with the toothpick and the greased hair coming down, like ultimate swagger, just swaggering in the ring, hit you with the Razor's Edge, which was my fantasy football team the last year in Zach's league, Razor's Edge Rushers. Huge Scott Hall fan. Again, I didn't love the NWO era when he was in it, but it was fine. Like, it worked. But Razor Ramon, for those who know from the 90s, was a true legend of 90s wrestling.
Yeah, just off of my list, so just recap our list real quick. I had Stone Cold Steve Austin, I had The Undertaker, and I had Randy Orton, just basically because of the RKO.
Sure.
Rusty?
I got Macho Man Randy Savage, The Ultimate Warrior, and Razor Ramon. And I do have an honorable mention. You first.
For all the short guys out there, I love, and again, it's all finishing moves for me. It's Rey Mysterio in the 619.
Absolutely.
I loved the 619 as a kid. Swinging through the ropes was awesome. That was the next one that came to my list. Again, we're talking about a very short stint of dedicated viewership from Uncle Buck here.
Sure.
So that's where I'm at.
That's the good when he unmasked
the Heartbreak Kid.
So that was Clark's favorite. And the first sports heartbreak I ever had, my honorable mention is one Bret Hart. You talk about finishing moves, putting people in a sharpshooter to end them. It was awesome. But my first real sports heartbreak was when Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels put Bret Hart in the sharpshooter to end the Iron Man match that was like a 3 or 4 hour wrestling match. Just like watching Clark gloat and run around the room, and I'm just devastated that Bret Hart lost. Was just my first true experience with sports heartbreak. I didn't know what I had coming, by choosing the other sports teams that I liked, but that was my first sports heartbreak, was Bret Hart losing that Iron Man match.
Yeah. You'll always remember him putting Ric Flair out to pasture, with the tears and the "I love you" and then the sweet chin music. Yeah. Like, what other sport can you get that? Like, can you imagine, like, everybody's waiting on LeBron to retire. Like, what would be the NBA equivalent of what Bret Michaels did to Ric Flair?
Yeah.
Like, Anthony Edwards just, like, teabagging him or something. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. Last thing about this, Sweet Chin Music is how I lost one of my front baby teeth. We're getting ready to go to Atlanta for Clark's birthday for a Braves game and get away as a family vacation. The night before, we're supposed to be packing, and instead Clark and I are playing WWE on the bed, and I come running in him to do a Goldberg spear, not anticipating a Sweet Chin Music, and he caught me flush in my upper teeth, and we both look at each other, and I've got blood just pouring out of my mouth, and we just go at the same time, go, oh no.
Yeah. The Rock is a good one.
It's a good one. And it was all it's just like, if this was a 5 wrestler list, he's in my top 5 for sure. Just can you smell what The Rock is cooking? It doesn't matter what your name is. Like, just great quotable, like Rock.
The best mic work.
Yeah. Yes,
he cut the best promos in the history of WWE.
Absolutely. So again, Maggie's got to
neither of us took. And neither of us took the reason why we're having this talk.
No.
Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
No.
Who I mean, he's pretty far down my list because of what he did to Rocky and Rocky 2.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't do that to the Italian style. You can't throw him 6 rows up in the stands like that.
No, agreed, man. Hey, listen, let us know your favorite wrestlers. Jared gave us 2 thumbs up. Maggie's got 2 out of 3 solid so far with The Undertaker and The Rock. Let us know what your lists are in the comments here today, or once it's posted, you watch this back. We want to know who's your top 3 wrestlers, and be looking out for this on social media so y'all can let us know what you think. But in the meantime, we do. I have no idea what's even happening anymore on StreamYard. I quit. I fully retire. OunceOfHope.com, code Bluff City gets you 15% off. I'm going to take advantage of some Ounce of Hope during this commercial break because I just don't know what I'm doing anymore, apparently. I've lost my swagger, as I talked about Razor Ramon. But OunceOfHope.com gets you all the products you need. Code Bluff City gets you 15% off. We got Choking and Toking coming up August the 16th at 1 p.m. Check that out at Midtown Krav Maga and Jiu-Jitsu. Starts at 1 p.m. Going to be a great event. Some of your favorite Bluff City personalities are going to be there. I know Edward's going to be there. I think Luke's coming in town. I'm going to be hanging out. Kenny's going to be there. It's going to be a great time. Y'all come hang out with us. You do not have to consume or participate to come hang out. Admission is free. Come hang out with your boys, and we'll talk basketball on the other side.
Choking and Token, the Mid-South's first cannabis-themed jiu-jitsu tournament.
August 16th at Midtown Krav Maga and Jiu-Jitsu.
At 1 p.m. 21 plus to compete or consume.
Consumption not required.
Ounce of Hope is licensed by the state of Tennessee. This is all 100% legal hemp products. Everything's good to go.
We'll have gi divisions.
No gi divisions.
Madison bracket, guaranteeing 4 matches per division, plus an absolute winner.
Each fighter receives an Ounce of Hope gift bag, and there's prizes for every winner.
Check out the link below to sign up.
In the heart of the Highland Strip for 27 years, Trilogy Tattoo has helped tell stories for Memphians for generations. Located at 530 South Highland, Richie and his team are waiting to help you tell yours.
From tattoos to piercings, your body art should be as unique as you are. Voted a Memphis Flyer top 3 tattoo shop in the city of Memphis since day one. Your story will be safe here at Trilogy Tattoo.
Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 to 11, and 3 to 11 on Sundays. They have convenient times waiting on you. Let Trilogy Tattoo help you tell your story.
But something else that I've casually observed, Kenny Stubblefield, is that one Demetrius Jamel Morant seems to be in great spirits, Kenny Stubblefield. He seems to be happy. He's being quiet. He ain't really saying too much on Twitter. He ain't shit talking. He's just out here, man, out here in Japan, China, New York, WNBA games, releasing shoes. I'm going to stand on this and say, remind you guys that Happy Jaw is a scary jaw. But there is an asterisk beside that, but for real this time.
For real this time, though.
He seems to be having a very fun off season. I don't mean like fun like turning up to tequila and wilding out and hanging. You haven't seen any videos of him on none of that type of stuff. I'm expecting to have a great year from Ja this year. Of course, health is a caveat to that. And you would hope that he does look different, man. He's older. You know, he's about to turn 26 this year as opposed to being the 19 or 20-year-old that he was coming into the league, man.
Check out the Anthony Sane Show live Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. only on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the $2 Sports Show. I am your co-host, Uncle Buck. I think Russ is going to join me again today. It's bad when you have a sports show, and the one thing that everybody talks about is your StreamYard issues. I think we really need a producer. Well,
apparently, because I
make enough money to afford a producer, Russ.
I follow the same steps every day. I don't know why it hates me. Like I literally don't get it. I don't get it. But I'm sweating. I'm over here sweating. But the $2 Bucks are back live Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. Central, talking all things buffoonery, mostly, obviously. But we dabble in a little bit of basketball. And so we do have some basketball news to talk about today. Some videos came out just a little while ago, earlier today, Drew, of some Memphis Grizzlies getting some run in Spain, which is fun to see. The NBA runs in Spain. We've got Shaedon Sharpe, Amin Thompson, Jalen Wells, Gigi Jackson, Davion Mitchell, former Grizzly Jay Huff, Bryce Sensabaugh, Sadiq Bey, and several guys are hooping. And I love to see these young guys like Jalen and Gigi out there getting run with other NBA players. Like, that was one of the biggest critiques of Gigi last offseason and the beginning of this one was he was always posting like 101, 109 against these short little trainers that are kind of helping him. But I think this is some positive, momentum and a trajectory for these guys. Be out playing with other NBA players, showcasing basketball overseas, still with Jay Huff is fun to see. But like seeing Jay Huff still doing his reverse dunks was fun. Jalen Wells getting buckets, Gigi playing a little bit of defense. And it's fun to see these guys getting out and getting some run, Drew, against other NBA players, polishing their game, getting ready for the season.
Yeah. I mean, hey, NBA is one of the longest seasons. It feels like it's a never-ending year-long season because, you go from the season that starts in October, it doesn't end till June, and then you immediately have the draft, and then you immediately have summer league, then you free agency, and then we're right around the corner from training camp starting and preseason starting and back into the season again. And so you've just got a little window here. And so you got all the money in the world. You want to play basketball. Don't play basketball where you live. Go to Spain and play basketball with all your friends. Like,
absolutely.
I can't imagine a better life, if I'm being honest with you. So, yeah, they're getting run. They're playing. They're having fun. I'm sure they're doing a little bit of work, on their game. But listen, go have a good time, play basketball, and don't get hurt. For God's sakes, don't get hurt.
That's the main thing I was about to say. Go have fun, but have fun carefully. Don't get hurt. But in some real NBA news, Jonathan Kuminga is the name that still comes up in trade talks. It's obvious that the two don't really want to work together. Steve Kerr doesn't believe he's a starter or a big-time contributor on this team. Kuminga thinks he has value, though he is kind of a middling offensive player and questionable defensively. But there are a couple offers out there. Drew, came out this week that the Phoenix Suns and Sacramento Kings have made some concrete offers for Jonathan Kuminga. I haven't seen any details of the Suns trade, but what I've read is that the Kings are wanting to ship over one Malik Monk. The Warriors don't really want his contract. They're more focused on trying to get Keegan Murray and some other players. Do you think, is that a good trade for Jonathan Kuminga, a Keegan Murray or a Malik Monk? Or where do you think this kind of is? Do you think this is a direction that's going to head?
I think there's a reason why that trade has not been accepted. If you're Golden State, you're going to see what's out there. Sure, you'd like to have. I'd rather have Keegan Murray. I'm not just going to take the first offer if the first offer is Malik Monk. But what you've seen right now is that it feels like Golden State knows the worth or what their asking price is, and they're holding pretty firm, and they've got time to waste. Jonathan Kuminga is a cool player. He's a player that if he if he was quote unquote, maybe there's a wrong term, like damaged goods, or you could get him at a discount because this whole thing goes squirrely, then I'd love to have him on the Grizzlies. But the problem you have with Jonathan Kuminga is that he makes a ton of money. You know, I don't have his contract up, but he's wanting to make a lot of money, and he's making a good bit of money now. You know, I think that's where all the crux of the issue lies with Golden State, is that he is not going to take anything less than the dollar amount that he has in his head. And because he can't get an extension worked out, they're just kind of stuck. And so I don't see Jonathan Kuminga as a piece that you build around, especially in Grizzlies terms. And so now I don't really see us getting involved in the Kuminga thing without a massive discount being taken. But if you're Golden State, like, why not? If you can get Keegan Murray out of it, I'd take Keegan Murray. I don't know what Phoenix is offering. You know, I don't know, like Dylan Brooks or what in the world could Phoenix offer you that's better than Buddy Hield? I don't know. But
so Jonathan Kuminga is currently on a 4-year, roughly $24.86 million rookie scale deal. There is a team option. Golden State offered a qualifying offer, $7.9 million, which again, that's not what they're offering, and that's a qualifying offer so that they can make him a restricted free agent. That's not technically. It's like what we did with Santi. You just give him a qualifying minimum offer so you can negotiate. He is a restricted free agent, and there is some interest coming from the Kings. Like I said, the Suns. I don't know what they have to offer, like you said. But Jonathan Kuminga and his camp are seeking $25 to $30 million per year. And that's a huge ask, again, for a guy who has questions on both sides of the ball, who's not going to be like a feature player, but is going to need some help around him in order to be functional. And so I don't blame Golden State. Like, they're trying to get better. Obviously, they're not going to let him walk. Same thing like with us with some of the trades that we made. We're just not going to give away a guy for nothing. But at a $25 to $30 million ask, that's a lot for a team to try and that. If that's what he wants, it's a lot for a team to try and re-sign for a guy that's going to be at best a third or fourth option on your team because of skill.
Well, I just don't know what they're going to do, because Golden State does not do anything to actively help his trade value. You know, they benched him, and for good reason. I mean, we're talking playoffs. You don't trust him. You don't trust him. Playoffs are not the time to boost your trade value by any means.
Right.
But going into the season, I wonder if he's going to play an active role in this team, or if he's still going to be in the, you know, proverbial doghouse here, because you would think if you can get some run to start the season in any game, he's capable of going for 35 points. Offense is not a problem with Jonathan Kuminga. And so if you can give him some run early in the season, maybe you can get Keegan Murray out of it. And honestly, if you're making a deal with the Sacramento Kings, ask for everything. They may give it to you for nothing.
Yeah, because they don't clearly have any direction or path forward with this team. One of the things, too, Drew, that's interesting is this is also holding up the likely signings of Al Horford and DeAnthony Melton, who are both believed to be signing with the Warriors. But this is kind of the logjam that's in the way, right? That's what's kind of holding this up, is they want to get off of Kuminga's deal so they can sign both of these players again. And I'm curious, like, how much longer they're going to hold out both sides, right? It feels like Horford and Melton, like, it seems like they're waiting on them to sign with Golden State. But if this thing continues to drag on and Golden State holds firm, which, again, I'm not saying I blame them, does that start impacting, you think, Horford or Melton's decision to re-sign with Golden State?
Well, Melton's weird because if I'm not mistaken, he's coming off of injury. Melton has dealt with a lot of injuries since being traded away from the Grizzlies. But Al Horford, you could show up the day of the first game for all I care. You know, let us know what size jersey you're wearing. Stay in shape. You can show up. I'm not worried in the slightest about 35-year veteran Al Horford, you know, getting acclimated to basketball. Like, he knows what the deal is. And so it's weird. You know, you've got a qualifying offer. And so does Jonathan Kuminga choose to just, like, hold out? Like, I can't remember the last time that an NBA player held out. Can you? Like, you know, it famously happens in the NFL. It seems
all
like
the time.
Yearly. You know, I once had a fantasy football league get tanked because I took Le'Veon Bell #1 and he did not play. So you just don't see this much in the NBA. You've got a qualifying offer. You would think he would probably just eventually show up and play. But I don't know. It's tricky for entertainment purposes, and because it's the Golden State Warriors. let's make this as messy as possible, please.
Yeah, please. Like, let's just make this thing gross. Like, come on, like this. Let's make it ugly. One last basketball topic, Drew. Again, it's summertime. We're looking for content. I think this would be fun. We're going to throw up some retro basketball logos over the years. Drew and I have been long-term basketball fans since we were kids. Back in, like, to me, I love the 90s and early 2000s of basketball with the post players and stuff. So I got a logo for you, Drew. When it pops up on the screen, I want to know what player comes to mind when you see this logo from the Denver Nuggets.
Dikembe Mutombo.
Mutombo, what a solid
the great,
one. Yeah.
the great Dikembe Mutombo.
Mm-hmm. For me, it was Antonio McDyess. I loved watching him play as a power forward back in the day. He was from Quitman, Mississippi, which, if you know, it's where my mom's from. It's from, like, we got a little family farm just south of there. For me, when I first saw this logo, as I was looking at retro NBA logos, it was Antonio McDyess, because he was from, again, a part of the world that I was from, played at Alabama, liked watching his career, longtime Spur, longtime Nugget. But there's so many greats. Melo is another one that's coming up here. Nick Van Exel was on some of those 90s teams around this. Like, there's a lot of great names that come up when you see a logo like this. So,
yeah. Well, and the thing with Melo is that I just when I think of Melo, I don't think of Denver. I think of New York. And so
we got a LaFonso Ellis reference on the Two Buck Sports Show today. Shout out Wayno.
Wayno's a sicko.
I mean, that's a deep cut, man. That's a deep cut.
Yeah. Antonio McDyess. What I think about Antonio McDyess is a Spur, and it's not for good reasons for Antonio McDyess.
It's not.
Because Zebo cooked that fella.
He did. On the back half of his career, he owned McDyess. But when McDyess played for the Nuggets, he was cold back in the late 90s, man. He was cold. But Drew, it is that time of the year, man. We talk about basketball all year long, but we're coming into the hot days of fall training camp with football right around the corner.
That's right. Segment number 3 on the 2 Buck Sports Show on Bluff City Media's YouTube and pages. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us. It's our Friday edition. We let our hair down a little bit on Fridays, and we're going to talk a little bit of football. And much like NBA basketball right now, all we're doing is like previewing the season a little bit. We're just trying to find something to talk to. And so there's a lot of media days. There's a lot of talks going around. It's a lot of just pot stirring, for being honest. But we like to contribute to the pot stirring. You know, we have thoughts. So what's the first thing we're going to talk about?
We've got 3 drama situations, if you will. And Jared in here in the comments talking about Quitman as a pull from the middle of nowhere. Quitman is in the middle of nowhere. I'm from Shabuda, Mississippi. If you want to talk about a deep cut that nobody knows, that's where my mom's side of the family's from, Shabuda, Mississippi. Let's go.
Yeah, Quitman is the LaFonso Ellis of Mississippi.
That's it. Exactly right. All right. So the first one that comes to mind, Drew, there was another team that is expressing interest / drawing interest, depending on which side of the conversation you're reading, about the University of North Carolina joining the SEC. Conference expansion is coming. They're far from done. We are absolutely heading towards like 2 or 3 mega conferences that are just going to feed into the playoffs. That kind of is the writing on the wall. And North Carolina either threw their hat in the ring or it leaked out that the SEC is interested in them, Drew. For me, off the jump, I don't know. Like, there was once upon a time where it was like, yeah, we want North Carolina because of their basketball. And we get a footprint in the Carolinas even further heading up towards the East Coast. But North Carolina basketball is not quite what it used to be. Their baseball program is still very good. They have some pizzazz, if you will, around their football program right now because of one Bill Belichick. But to me, this is not necessarily a needle mover if I'm the SEC. I don't know that North Carolina would be my first draw to add to the conference.
Oh, see, I disagree. I disagree. I think, you've just added Texas and Oklahoma, 2 football powerhouses known for football. If you can go and say, get Duke, North Carolina, who are, basketball is number 1, football is number 2, and by a wide margin. You add that to like Kentucky, who is kind of got that same kind of mindset. I think it's an absolute win. Now, do you expand? I mean, the SEC is at 16 teams right now. We're going into year 2 with Texas and Oklahoma. this doesn't feel like a narrative that is being pushed by the SEC as much as it is a narrative being pushed by North Carolina. And if you're North Carolina, a story just came out that because of Bill Belichick, and we're talking about a school that prioritizes basketball, they have sold out season tickets for their football program because of Bill Belichick. There is never a time that you've probably felt sexier, in your opinion, to a conference like the SEC, a conference that does pride themselves as a football conference. And you've probably never been sexier. And so I don't think you add one team if you play this out just a little further. Like, you're not going to add a 17th team without adding an 18th team, or honestly, probably even a 19th and 20th.
Probably 4.
Yeah. So if you play this out a little further, yes, I would love to get Duke in there. And then see if you can add Oklahoma State and Kansas, because then you bring the you bring Bedlam into the SEC. You bring the border war. You will have Kansas, Duke, North Carolina, and Kentucky like as a basketball half of the conference. Like I like it if we're going to expand. I kind of think conference expansion has gotten way out of hand anyways. You know, we're now got in-conference matchups between Rutgers and USC and Florida State and Cal. You know, like, it doesn't make sense anymore. So the regional footprint argument doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter if you're getting into North Carolina and you're not there yet. That argument doesn't hold water anymore. It's about the brand that is Jordan for North Carolina. It's the Jordan brand, the basketball. You get Cameron Indoor, and you get the Jordan brand at North Carolina. Like, I can see the SEC making a basketball decision.
So the reason I want to be the counterpoint to that is
amazing basketball. The best basketball conference last year too.
But counterpoint, what sport makes the most money? And it's football, and it's not even close. And so I think there's going to be expansion. Again, like I said earlier, we're going to go away from the regional ACC, Big Ten, SEC. They may still be called that loosely, but there's going to be 3 big power conferences. And so Duke and North Carolina are fine to add to it from a basketball perspective. But if you do that, I think Clemson and Florida State makes sense. I think Oklahoma State is one that could make sense. I think you go get another, like, you get football programs, because football is what pays the bills. That's what, and I'm telling you, yes, it'd be fun to be better at basketball as one of the better basketball conferences already, but football pays the bills. And so when the SEC is looking to expand, I think they're going to start looking harder at adding more football-heavy schools. Kansas is coming up in football. Like, that would be a fun natural rivalry with Missouri. You got that border war. They used to play that all the time back in the Big 8 and the Big 12. Oklahoma State also makes sense. Mike Gundy is a sell. He's a Lane Kiffin light with a mullet out there. But I think the ACC is going to be the conference that gets picked apart. The Big 12 is trying to grow, and they're trying to add teams. They're trying to expand. I think the ACC is ripe for the picking. I don't care nothing about Virginia Tech. They don't move the needle for me at all in any direction. North Carolina, whatever. But if you go get Duke in North Carolina, that's great for basketball. But then I think Clemson and Florida State would be the 19th and 20th to add more money from a football perspective.
Yeah. And when you're talking about schools of that ilk anyways, especially when you talk about Clemson and Florida State, for the baseball, that's for the SEC, that's baseball as well.
Yeah, huge.
Duke and North Carolina also really good baseball teams. I just don't know. Listen, we didn't talk about this yet. The SEC media days, we have not talked about the what the media voted for the SEC yet. Do you want to go through that real quick?
Yeah, let's do that, because I know where we are. We can start at the bottom and work our way up. That's fine. I did see that. Yeah.
Journalists, media, coaches, I don't know who all votes in the preseason polls there that happens at SEC media days. But number 1, projected order of finish, Texas, which should be no surprise to anybody, despite breaking in a new quarterback. Arch Manning is probably as hyped as any non-returning starter has ever been at the quarterback position in the SEC. Yeah. Georgia, Alabama, LSU. I think the top 4 can't really be argued over, except for maybe what order you put those 4 in.
Right.
The drama starts at 5. South Carolina, the Lenore Sellers trade. I mean, the Lenore Sellers train is gathering smoke. You can tell that's the cute pick here. Florida at number 6. Again, you're talking about quarterback DJ Lagway.
Yeah.
Ole Miss at 7, Texas A&M at 8, and somehow they will still underachieve.
Absolutely.
Tennessee at 9.
Really got a Nico hangover there.
Yeah, they're really not liking the Nico replacement, it seems. Oklahoma, who I think is probably the dark horse to be really good because John Mateer, crazy legs they got from Washington State. It's a big upgrade over Jackson Arnold, who is the quarterback for the next school on the list, Auburn.
Auburn is a team that I think might overachieve. They've got a lot of guys coming back. They're an older team. Their defense is really good. Shout out to my boy Zach at Grind City. We were talking about it yesterday. I think Auburn, I know it's Hugh Freeze, but I think Auburn's going to be better next year.
Auburn's not going to be good. Again, I don't believe it. Jackson Arnold was the worst passing quarterback in the SEC last year.
What does Auburn do, though? They run it down your throat. That's exactly what they do.
What? No, that's historic. This is Hugh Freeze we're talking about. That is not Hugh Freeze.
Mississippi State lost the Jackson Arnold sweepstake, and we might have won. I'll say that.
Well, we haven't even got to Mississippi State yet, so
we gotta wait to go.
because next is Missouri, then Vanderbilt at
fighting Diego
11.
Pavias.
Arkansas at 12, Kentucky at 13, who went 1-7 in the
Arkansas
SEC.
14. Kentucky is 15.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. I counted up from the bottom, but I started at 14 because I still haven't gotten used to the 16 teams yet.
Yeah.
So 13. Vanderbilt at 13, Arkansas 14, Kentucky 15, Mississippi State 16. Just some quick ones. First team all on offense, first team quarterback Lenore Sellers over Garrett Nussmeier.
He's good. Lenore Sellers he's just so dynamic with his feet, and that's one of the big things for him.
Trying to just any names that would stick out to us. Garrett Nussmeier, second team quarterback. Arch Manning, third team, despite never playing a game yet.
So here's
no
the thing.
Mississippi State guys.
Here's the thing with Mississippi State. So Mississippi State, the reason we are 16 is it's the defense, right? We've upgraded on offense. We've got better weapons. We got the running back from South Alabama, Booth, who's going to be, I think he's going to be a really good SEC running back, possibly in his only year in Starkville. Blake Shapen is coming back. Can he stay healthy? If not, the transfer from Florida State has got a missile for an arm, and he's young, and he's got some time to develop, and Levy can develop quarterbacks. So offensively, I think we're going to be better. And offensively, we got better down the stretch last year as Levy's system took place. We were very competitive against Georgia and Texas and Ole Miss for 3.5 quarters. But the problem last year and this year is our defense. You've got a former special teams coordinator in Cole Huxler that is leading that defense once again. And Drew, personnel was bad last year, but then when you run out a 3-man front on 3rd and 1 in a nickel package and you know exactly what the offense is going to do, that's a system error. And yet, instead of getting fired, we run it back with him again to see if he's going to be able to fix it in year 2. I have zero expectations for that. Yeah. I think their defense is what's going to hold us back, and I hate that. That drives me nuts because we've got some decent players. Isaac Smith's going to be an NFL safety one day. We got some guys who can play, but I think Coleman Huxler is going to be the thing that holds us back the most, and that's what's frustrating because the offense is going to be better. Do I think we're going to finish dead last in the SEC? No. I do think we're going to be better than last year. Our schedule is fairly favorable. I think there's a real chance we could knock off a playoff team from last year. In Arizona State in week 3. There's some opportunity for us to go. I think 6-6 is where we could end up, but the defense is what's going to hold us back once again. And I know that's in our Mississippi State.
You were talking way too much about Mississippi State. We're going to have a whole episode.
Frustrated, I know. That's what I was about to say. We're getting there, but I'm pretty frustrated for that episode with how bad our defense
you went full frustrated here. You've chased this rabbit and you've ruined your own day worse than StreamYard ever could have. So just quit, okay? So that is something we're going to do. So we've got a special live show on next Wednesday that you're not going to want to miss. We're going to be on location at a new friend's place. Okay. Rusty and Uncle Buck together beside each other doing a live show on Wednesday.
Y'all,
you're not going to
miss
miss
a lot of cool stuff coming. Yeah.
And then
make sure real quick in that vein, make sure you're on Instagram today at 5 p.m. I'm sorry to interrupt. Instagram 5 p.m. today. Make sure you're there. Continue.
Starting the next week, we're going daily. Okay. We're going to do this every day. Every dang day. Okay. We're going to have way too much to talk about. But we're also starting something we're really excited about. We're biting off way more than we can chew. by one, just going every day, but two, we're going to have a representative from all 16 SEC teams to talk about their football team as we're leading up to college football season. We're jumping in with both feet in college football. We cannot wait. Listen, in the past, I don't know how our college football has gone in the past. We're just doing it again. We're doing it again. We're doing it better. Y'all are going to jump in with us. It's going to be a ton of fun. We're going to have somebody from all 16 SEC teams jump in on the $2 Sports Show as we get close to the Labor Day weekend and the start of college football season.
Including some guys maybe not affiliated with SEC schools, but with college football in general. We've got some really exciting guests that are coming up that have agreed for some reason to be on our show, working out some details there. So we'll make those announcements. Some faces you'll recognize.
You're going to have to work out how to punch them buttons. We're getting some good dudes on this show.
I know.
And you're going to strand them on the screen by themselves. And
I don't know what's happened. Like, I've lost my mojo. I got to find it again. Hopefully some weekend off will help. I don't know. It is what it is. But we got some big-time personalities coming, trying to get some good college football content. Y'all came hang out with us. Even if college football is not your thing, I'm looking at you, Wayno, Maggie. I know y'all are out there that don't love college football. But King Meeks, Jared, those in the comments that are watching and not participating, y'all on Twitter scrolling through, come hang out with us. We'll be your premier source of college football, especially SEC talk. Going to be a lot of fun sports betting. Going to be a lot of great matchups head-to-head. Drew and I always pick against the spread every week, so you can come and make fun of the one. Like, there was a year, 2 years ago, Drew, you were whipping my tail at midpoint through the season. And your boy made a roaring comeback, only for us to we tied that year. That was the year we tied. We finished
we decided to tie on the Egg Bowl, remember? And we won.
I forgot about that. I guess I forgot.
So I'm glad you brought that up because you lost.
Yeah. Well, listen, I was down, I was literally down like 100-0, and we come roaring back and made a valiant effort. But college football is back, and we're going to be here hanging out talking about it throughout the rest of the season. So appreciate everybody being here. Edward, hate you're late as well. Thanks for being here as we're starting to wrap this thing up. But Drew, what you got going on this weekend? Anything fun?
So hoping to play golf with my dad tomorrow. We're just going to be hanging out. You know, it's really hot. And the wife is pregnant, as you guys know now. So I'm trying my best to kind of rein her in and pump the brakes. We've got a busy fall coming up with some engagements with the show, as well as fall travel ball starting up. We're going to be in the heat a lot. So any time that we just have nothing really on the books, I'm trying to rein her in. It's like, hey, let's just stay at home. Let's just stay at home tonight, you know, and hang out. So I think we're going to have a date night tonight. Actually, one of the churches around the corner is like family date night daycare tonight. And I was like, that's a thing?
Done.
Awesome.
Y'all going to Biscuit? Y'all going to Biscuit?
Telling me I can just drop my kids off at the church on a Friday night? I'm in. So.
Nice, man. Yeah, for me, I'm going to be on a date night tonight as well. Like I shared on the Daily Grind this morning, Maggie and I are celebrating her promotion, my new job at one of our favorite restaurants. It's going to be an awesome time hanging out tonight. Looking forward to a wonderful date night with her. Truly one of my favorite things to do. Studying tomorrow. And then Sunday, I'm playing in a wiffle ball benefit tournament. I forget the charity. I have minimal details so far. I just know that I'm playing at Memphis Brewery, wiffle ball down there in their little outdoor area outside of the brewery. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a good time for a good cause. It's going to be hot before I take my exam on Monday. I will not be on any shows on Monday because I will be taking my national and Tennessee real estate exam. So T's and P's for your boy. I would certainly appreciate it because that is that's a doozy that's weighing kind of heavy on me. So I appreciate any. Yeah, appreciate any T's and P's over the weekend. But that's going to do it for your Friday edition of the $2 Sports Show. Thank y'all for hanging out here with us as always. Great group in the comments. A lot of fun banter back and forth. Drew, I appreciate it. Y'all go be a friend to somebody who needs a friend, and there are no refunds for what you heard today.
That's right, because with the $2, you always get what you pay for. Hope everybody has a good weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of the $2 Sports Show. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page, like this video, and leave a comment. We will see you back here in a few days.